Tonight's question is simple but deeply unsettling. What's actually scarier, ghosts or aliens? Is it the idea that something human might still be walking beside us, tied to places, memories and unfinished business? Or is it far more terrifying to think we're not alone in the universe and that something out there might already know we exist? In this episode, we're diving into hauntings, encounters, the psychology of fear and why the familiar can be just as disturbing as the completely unknown. So whether you're more afraid of footsteps in the hallway or lights in the sky, stay with us as we ask, which is truly more frightening? The dead who may never leave, or the living things that may one day arrive?
Hello and welcome back to Ghost Watchers Northwest. So tonight the discussion is ghosts versus aliens. Why do ghosts feel more personal whilst aliens feel more universal, and which make it most frightening? In my opinion, ghosts will feel more personal because they generally can be attached to somebody or to a property, to a home, or they're attached to something, can be attached to something. Maybe it's somebody's loved one that's around, and not forgetting that they were probably, most of them were once human, so that I think that's what makes them more personal. Whereas aliens, they're not from this planet. For me, that'll make aliens more frightening than ghosts, because I don't know what they're going to do or what they're capable of, which makes it more frightening for me, not knowing what to expect and not knowing anything about the species. That makes it more frightening for me.
So when you're thinking about ghosts, generally it seems to be more personal, so you might see them in your home, in places like corridors, bedrooms, living rooms. It tends to be more personal, on a personal connection. So you're often seeing them at places that should feel safe. So I think it gives that element of fear with ghosts, where you should feel safe here, but then ghosts can make an appearance. Often with ghosts as well, it can be linked to emotional aspects of it. So grief, unfinished business, love, revenge as well. So sometimes it's that feeling as well of being watched. On the other hand, you've got aliens, and they represent a massive fear of the unknown, almost like intelligence beyond humanity. And I think it can also raise a lot of fear and questions of mankind as well. So are we insignificant? Is there a higher beings out there? Is there kind of like the threat of being replaced? So there's so much that comes under the fear with aliens. And quite frankly, it's very hyped up and talked about, but we don't know an awful lot about them. So what's scarier depends on the fear type. We're looking at personal violation versus universal insignificance. You could describe it as ghosts threaten your sense of safety, whereas aliens threaten your place in reality.
Is it scary to think that something human, that was once human, could still be here? Or is it scary to think that something not human could find us? I definitely think it's something that's not human could find us. I do believe aliens could exist because there's so many planets out there. There's got to be other species, other life forms. So, but not knowing about this life form would scare me more.
Okay, so the next question, is it scary to think something once human is still here, or that something not human could find us? Right, so let's have a look. Let's delve into this one. I think if you're looking at once human in the aspect of ghosts, you might then think, you know, it's that fear of your mind continuing on and being trapped, which might suggest that death isn't an escape and your conscience can still linger. So I suppose some might fear it in that sense. It could also imply of emotional motives such as anger, regret, hurt, that kind of thing. And on the other hand, when we look at the alien side of it, there's also the fear of not human. So we can't reason, we can't predict what will happen. It's a very much a grey area. Fear maybe of being erased, studied, that kind of thing. So it's like that really delving into the unknown. So I suppose you've got ghost fear, which is distorted familiarity. And then you've got the alien fear, which is like the absolute otherness. So it's a really tricky question, but you've got the two types of the fear, and I think you can fear it from both sides of the argument. I think my personal opinion is the fear of something not human being able to find us. I don't know, I think it is for me, like I'm familiar with a lot of ghost in the sense that as a paranormal investigator, it kind of opens you up to it. So a lot of people might freak out at little taps or things that they might hear or see, whereas for me, it almost becomes the norm. So yeah, I think for me personally, I'm more inclined to say it's more the fear of something not human, something we don't understand fully. And that's just based on my personal views of being a paranormal investigator.
Which has the better evidence, ghosts or aliens, and would that make it more terrifying? So I'm not sure on this one because I'm not sure what, of all the evidence of aliens, but I'm going to say probably aliens because you've got like, is it Area 51 or something like, these research places. So I'm going to say that I think they've got more evidence on aliens. Does it make it more terrifying? Yeah, for me it probably would. Yeah, like I said, aliens I'm unsure about. So yeah, possibly.
Okay, question 3. I think ghost evidence is quite relatable. There's a lot of evidence out there. People have documented a lot throughout the years. There has been so many sightings and unexplained events that people have reported and witnessed when you're looking at from the ghost perspectives. I think it also feels very believable as well because it is relatable. So when we look at aliens, science itself suggests that we aren't alone and that there could be something out here, which makes that intellectually unsettling. And I think as well, it's that feeling of the likelihood that there is life somewhere else as well. I think a lot of us, most people do think, oh, maybe there is life out there somewhere. I think the more scientifically plausible that aliens become, the more that we shift from folklore to more anxiety, almost like a reality-based anxiety that we might start to feel. I think if general consensus would say that ghosts stay in the realm of uncanny, they can sometimes be less provable, but they are more psychologically invasive and more relatable. So in a nutshell, you might say that aliens are supported by the fear of probability, whereas ghosts are supported by the fear of experiences and what a lot of us have experienced in our lives. Me personally, I would say that there's more evidence of ghosts, but I am a bit biased because I am a paranormal investigator, so I'm just going off the evidence that I've seen. But then you could argue that if you're looking at science, then, you could say that there's more evidence of aliens, but I don't know. I've not had a lot of experiences with aliens.
If you had to experience a haunting or an alien encounter, which would I choose? For me, it's going to be the haunting. I think I'd cope better with a haunting. I'd have some idea of what could happen. Sometimes hauntings are just hauntings, and they just get on with it. It could be a residual one. There's all. They just get on with it and they don't disturb you. But aliens, no, not for me. I wouldn't like to be abducted and not knowing what's going to happen and things like that. So I'd choose a haunting all day long.
And the last question is definitely, for me, it's going to be a haunting. Absolutely, because I know what to expect with hauntings. I've had lots of experience in that realm of things. I know, I'm quite accumulated to seeing and experiencing ghostly activity. I feel like as well that ghosts might be more understanding in the sense of they're people. So they've got rules and, people can relate to them and they're more understanding. Whereas when you're delving into aliens, we don't know much about the species or how to respond, I suppose. So on a closing note, ghosts might make us more afraid of the past and refusing to die. And aliens could make us more afraid of the fact that we was never alone to begin with. And that there's something out there all along.
So this is a quick fire round. So I'm just going to keep my glasses on while I can answer it. So number 1, something standing at the foot of your bed every night, or losing 3 hours of time and finding a mark on your skin. Definitely, for me, I'd rather have something standing at the bottom of my bed every night compared to having an alien abduction. 2, living in a house where footsteps are heard every night but nothing ever seen, or seeing something watching you from the sky every night getting slightly closer each time. I'd live in the house with the footsteps 100% over, seeing something getting closer and closer in the sky. That would terrify, that would scare me. Number 3, hearing your name whispered in an empty building, or seeing lights follow your car on a deserted road. For this one, it's going to be the first one for me, hearing my name whispered in an empty building. I think that would scare me a lot more.
Okay, so we're going to do something a little bit different now, a little bit of fun, and this is a quick fire round. So I'm going to read out some scenarios and I'm going to decide which is worse. So something standing at the foot of your bed every night, or losing 3 hours of time and finding a mark on your skin. For me, that would be losing 3 hours of time and finding a mark on my skin, because I've recently had kidney surgery and I'm still waiting for more surgery. As I speak, I've got a hot water bottle on me now. So with relation to the kidney and having surgery, one thing that I was a bit fearful about with my kidney surgery is the fact that I would lose time. I knew I was going to be put to sleep and I'd just blink and then wake up and all that time's gone. You don't know what's happened in that time and that loss of control. So I'm just giving you an example of that fear and how it can be linked to everyday life. scenarios, and I think for me it's that fear of not knowing and being out of control and not knowing what's happened. So yeah, definitely for me, number 2 would be Scarier. I've just realised that this is a quick fire round, by the way, and I'm waffling, so I do apologise. I won't waffle now. So next one is hearing your name whispered in an empty building or seeing lights follow your car on a deserted road. Ooh, which is more scarier for me? Well, I'd have to say seeing lights following your car. Next one is living in a house where footsteps are heard every night but nothing is ever seen, or seeing something watching you from the sky every night, getting slightly closer each time. Again, it's going to be seeing something watching you from the sky every night and getting closer and closer, definitely.
So in scenario 1, I would think it's more likely to be ghost, the typical ghost haunting things.
So the first one is you wake up at 3:17 a.m. every night for a week. No reason, no noise. But each morning something small in your room has moved. I'm gonna go with ghost on that one. It was a tricky one, but I do think ghost, because ghosts can sometimes occur at a set time, and things moving as well suggests to me ghostly activity. Could be wrong, but that's what I'm going with.
In scenario 2, definitely aliens to me for this one. It's just like something you read or something you see in a movie.
Okay, scenario 2. While driving home, you see a light hovering silently above the road. Your radio fills with static. When it clears, you're 10 miles further on with no memory of the journey. So for that one, I'm definitely saying alien activity there, especially the static radio and the loss of time, which is typical of alien invasions or alien activity. That brings me to a thought that's just popped into my head when recently, maybe a year or so ago, myself and Matt was doing a drive, and we was chatting away, and we both actually lost time, which was really, really strange. I don't know what it was, but we was both chatting, and when we kind of came to, we was like further down the road, like quite a lot further down the road, and both of us had no recollection of like how we got there, and it was almost like a loss of time. It was really, really weird. It was like we both kind of came to, and we was both like, oh, you know, and I could imagine that happening if it was one person, because there can be a scientifical explanation, but the fact that it was both of us was really, really creepy. And we were both like, I remembered from when we was talking about this, and Matt was the same, and then all of a sudden we're further on in the journey and we don't know how we got there. It was really, really weird and spooky moment, but I just thought I'd mention that. I think that if that was alien activity, I'm not saying it is, then that's probably the only kind of thing I've had looking at anything to do with alien activity. I'm waffling, I'm really sorry guys.
Scenario 3, this could be either, but my initial thought would go towards a ghost.
Right, scenario 3. You hear someone call your name clearly when you're alone. Not once, but often. The voice always sounds familiar, but you can never place who it belongs to. For that one, I'm going to say ghost, because having that familiar voice is a typical ghost haunting as well. Sometimes you might hear a familiar voice, and with ghost activity, you do hear voices.
Scenario 4, alien, definitely, 100% alien for me.
And the last scenario, scenario 4, you have an incredibly vivid dream of being in a bright room surrounded by tall figures. You wake up exhausted with dirt on your feet. Definitely alien activity for me. That's not something you would really typically see in ghost activity. And again, it's that sense of like time loss, but you've obviously got a lot of blanks there, and obviously having the dirty feet and not knowing what's happened would definitely suggest alien activity to me. So that brings me now to the end of our video, and we're going to look at the results from a poll that we put up on our YouTube channel. So we asked, what's scarier? We need your vote. We're recording an upcoming podcast episode and we're torn. Which truly gives you the chills, ghosts or aliens? And I can reveal that we had some votes, and 50% of you said ghosts and 50% of you said aliens. So it's obviously a very debatable topic when you're looking at what's scarier. I suppose it depends on other people's personal interpretations of fear and what scares them more. So I'm going to read out some comments. So Van Andrew, Chris and Dion said, definitely ghosts. I think UFOs are man-made at least most of the time, like new top secret airships being tested. In my humble opinion of not actually knowing, but it may be a fun topic for you to explore. Definitely agree with you on that one. Please do follow them. They are a lovely, lovely couple, and I really genuinely enjoy watching their content and watching their adventures. So please do give them a sub. So yeah, I have to say you got a good point there. Is it, are UFOs man-made and they're not real? And then my beautiful, lovely husband, Matt, Pagan Paranormal Explorer, has put, I definitely think ghosts because of what they can do to channel through you, especially if the spirit is angry and vengeful. And I can totally agree with you there, Matt. There is that side to ghostly activities as well. Like, you've heard of possessions and exorcisms have had to taken place. So yeah, definitely I can see where you're coming from on that one, absolutely. And we've got David Jones, or Di. He says, ghosts. Then again, wouldn't want to see an alien. Absolutely. I don't think I'd want to see an alien as well, Di, to be honest with you. And yeah, ghosts, I can understand why people fear ghosts, definitely. And then Keith Williams have said, ghosts, aliens are a figment of people's imaginations, I believe. So again, that goes with Dion and Chris were saying as well about maybe it's a figment of people's imaginations, man-made. I'm definitely thinking, I'm open-minded to that, definitely, because like I said, I've had one experience of something unusual, which was the time slip, but I couldn't tell you whether that was alien or not, or whether it was just something that can be explained. But yeah, definitely can see that point of view. And the final one is from Paranormal Spirits Colorado. I would like more answers and more information regarding the possibility of aliens trying to communicate with us on this planet. We will hopefully get more answers if and when our government releases all the UFO files. I believe that there is more information than we are aware of out there that the government doesn't want to share with everyone. And then it goes on to say, I've always been trying to communicate with spirits through the years that have already crossed over. However, recently I am now trying to include any type of aliens too during my EVP sessions. That is a really good point. Thank you for sharing your opinions on that. And I have to say as well, definitely need more information. It's hard to say whether aliens are real without the information and without the clear evidence. Definitely agree with you on that one. And what a brilliant idea to include aliens in your EVP sessions. That is a brilliant idea, actually, because sometimes there is that question as well that we have wondered ourselves, is it ghosts we're communicating with, or is it something else? I'm going to leave you on that note. But I want to say as well, thank you so much to everybody that has left a comment. We love reading your comments and listening to your views and opinions, because everybody has their own opinions, and it's important to be kind and respect that everybody has their own views on things. So yeah, do want to say thank you so much, guys. And yeah, please do subscribe to the channels as well. Check them out and give them a subscribe. We like to support one another here.
For me, the more terrifying it's got to be, it's 100% aliens. And I often wonder, when using spirit box and things like that, whether is spirits communicating with us, or could it be aliens transmitting messages to us?
Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you for watching, everybody. It would be lovely to hear any of your ghostly experiences or alien encounters, maybe. If you want to leave them in the comments, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we shall see you soon. Bye for now. Take care.
So, what's scarier? The possibility that some part of us never truly leaves, or the possibility that we were never alone to begin with? Maybe the real fear isn't ghosts or aliens, but how little we understand about our own reality. Let us know where you stand. Would you rather face something from beyond the grave, or beyond the stars? Until next time, stay curious and maybe leave a light on.